This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. JUTC female employees livid look into court. The state-owned Jamaica Urban Transit Company could be dragged before the courts by female employees who are livid after a case against a supervisor they claim is a serial sexual harasser was dismissed on Tuesday because of a reported procedural error. None of us were notified as to the findings, and we were all there on Tuesday when the hearing was scheduled at the company's Ashenham Road depot. The company is going to be facing lawsuits, that's what I can tell you, said one female employee who claimed that she was among the many victims of sexual harassment. I am going to be seeking legal representation as we were unfairly treated, we were disrespected, and we have to take action, said the woman with disappointment evident in her voice. She said under the rules of the JUTC, once a charge has been laid against one of its employees, a hearing must be held within 21 days or the matter would be dismissed. They came to a decision that because 21 days had passed for the matter to be brought up, it would be thrown out. But we are aware that the investigators had applied for an extension on October 6, 2021 due to the number of women that they would have to interview and take statements from, added the woman. We had a hearing with him on Tuesday and we were not allowed to be in the room with our union delegates. We were sent out of the room because he and his representatives were allowed to stay in that room, another female employee of the bus company claimed. She was one of several JUTC employees who first reported the allegations to the news in October 2021. At that time, they charged that the alleged serial harasser had been interdicted while the company conducted a probe into the reports against him. At that time, the management of the JUTC did not confirm or deny if the man had been interdicted, but said it was aware of reports from some female employees and an investigation was being done. The JUTC takes such allegations very seriously and does not tolerate inappropriate behavior in the workplace. Our employees are encouraged to bring such matters to our attention at any time without fear of any adverse action being taken against them for doing so, Cecil Toms, corporate communications manager at the JUTC, told the news then. Efforts to get an update from the JUTC on Wednesday were unsuccessful, as Toms said the company's managing director, Paul Abrahams, had requested details on the hearing and needs more time to respond to our news team. But a number of present and former female employees were convinced that nothing further would be done by the company and declared that they were prepared to take action. According to the women, the supervisor made their lives hell because they rejected his demands for sexual favors. You get approached for sex and you don't give in, him victimize you. It's like him make him friend them sit down in the depot, and if them even go a road and do 1 or 2 trips, him call them in and take the bus and give you, even though for them duty not done, alleged one former JUTC employee. The next thing, him will go take a defective bus, one without sun visor or one where the seat tie up with a rope, to give you tug road. Him thing is that you can't stay in the depot once you never give him what him want, even if your bus defective, added the former employee. Another woman who pleaded for her name to be withheld because she is still employed to the JUTC told the news that she had seen a number of her colleagues resign because they believed that was the only option to escape this man who allegedly targeted them. The developments at the JUTC comes days after Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange urged the organizations to get ready for the implementation of the sexual harassment law. Under the law, workplaces and institutions are required to issue sexual harassment policies and to bring those policies to the attention of workers. The policy should advise workers, clients, students, residents, wards, and members on how complaints of sexual harassment should be reported and addressed. Although workplaces and institutions will have 12 months from the implementation date of the law to put their policies in place, it is critical that the work begins now. I've mandated the Bureau of Gender Affairs to step up sensitization on the sexual harassment legislation and to assist the organizations to develop their policies, said Minister Grange. She noted that she was awaiting the completion of the administrative arrangements for establishment of the Sexual Harassment Tribunal and the Sexual Harassment Unit before announcing the date on which the Sexual Harassment Act 2021 shall come into operation. Little Bay land squabble heats up. A bitter and long-running land dispute in Little Bay and Brayton in Westmoreland escalated on Wednesday with informal settlers, gasoline in hand and roads blocked, ready to take their protest up a notch after what they say was an attempt to bulldoze their dwellings. The police intervened, no buildings were razed, and a full-scale riot was averted. At the heart of the issue is more than 800 acres of prime beachfront real estate. On Wednesday, residents told the news that an open-bed truck drove up to the gates of their community leader and the president of the Violet Communities Association, Jess Beach, and offloaded a bulldozer. An alarm was raised and residents came to the rescue. Beach's son, George Rose, said they had been ready to fight. "You see, if any white man, blue man, green man, black man, or any one of them cause my mother fi dead, them a go live in the sky. Them have to go kill me too. Me no run joke. A one mother me got and me no want nobody stress her out," he said. Rose said the workmen who came with the bulldozer are not from the parish and were not in the mood to have a conversation, claiming they were just doing their jobs. The efforts of the crew were foiled by the police. In March, former government lawmaker and attorney at law Reverend Ronald Thwaites, who represented some of the defendants in the matter that had been drawn out in the courts for over a decade, suggested in a news interview that the government should act as a broker between the parties, pointing out that hundreds of people have been living on and investing in the property for more than 30 years. Thwaites argued that to try to evict them would cause a civil unrest of the sort that would be very dangerous to contemplate, and therefore I believe that no doubt the owner has his rights, and so do the people who settled there over many years. In 2011, the court granted writs of possession to an individual living overseas and the eviction of at least 37 squatters. However, Thwaites argued that since the 2011 declaration, the laws of the country have been developed in such a way that gives strength to people who have occupied land undisturbed for a certain period. The current law gives squatters the right to claim legal ownership by adverse possession of private lands if they can prove they have acted undisturbed as an owner for 12 years or more, or 60 years in the case of crown property. Thwaites had also disclosed that offers of purchase were made to the owner but were flatly rejected. On Wednesday, Beach, who over the years has helped maintain the peace in the area as president of the association, renewed a call she made in March for the intervention of Prime Minister Andrew Holness. "Mr. Prime Minister, we cannot go on like this. We need your help and support. Right now, sir, I don't know where we stand, so we need your help and support," she pleaded. She and other residents told the news that workmen had been in the area doing land surveys on Tuesday. Drones were also reportedly used. In March, several residents came out in their numbers and staged a peaceful demonstration in the community. They also chained the gates to the Little Bay All-Age and Infant School, but the chains were later removed with the help of the police. The residents' dispute was linked to eviction notices that were made possible under a Supreme Court order dated October 21, 2021. They were told that they would be evicted without further notice if they failed to immediately vacate premises you now occupy as a squatter in Little Bay and Brighton. An article posted by Yahoo Finance on January 18, 2022 said United States-based investors were facing delays with a proposed $8 billion development of 2 five-star resorts, each fitted with PGA-style golf courses. The article blamed the delay of the lands being occupied by squatters, while the government remained silent on the issue. The article also said Carl Samuda, then Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, intervened in June 2018, indicating that the squatters would be resettled. Yahoo Finance also said that since then, several meetings had been held and timetables scheduled, with the last meeting held in April 2021. That was attended by Minister Pernell Charles Jr., Minister of Housing, Urban Renewal, Environment and Climate Change, who promised a swift and decisive response and follow-up, said Yahoo Finance. Public defender finds Nzinga Kings' hair was cut by police. The Office of the Public Defender has concluded that Nzinga King's locks were unlawfully cut by a policewoman while she was in custody at the Four Paths police station last year. According to the public defender Arlene Harrison Henry, in doing so, the policewoman violated King's constitutional rights. Harrison Henry further recommended that King be compensated for the infringement on her constitutional rights, criminal proceedings be visited upon the accused policewoman, disciplinary proceedings be taken against the accused policewoman's supervisor, and a portion of the fines imposed upon King be remitted. The public defender also recommended that amendments be made to the Towns and Communities Act and the Parish Court Jurisdiction Act, or alternately, the Criminal Justice Reform Act. It was also recommended that the Jamaica Constabulary Force remind or inform its members through its force orders of the provisions of the Public Defender Act as it relates to the constabulary. The public defender's findings come on the heels of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn's ruling in February that police officers accused of cutting King's locks face no criminal charges. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.